In this Blender tutorial, I will introduce you to working with the grease pencil in Blender. Blender's grease pencil is a Blender object that permits you to draw in 3D space. The grease pencil can be used for traditional 2D animation, cutout animation, motion graphics, or for storyboards. The easiest way to access the grease pencil is Shift-A, grease pencil, blank. On the left of the viewport is the tool shelf. Across the top of the viewport are various menus and pencil options. Just under the viewport is the timeline, which can also be changed to the dope sheet and can be used for animation. And on the right is more options for the pencil. F allows you to change the radius of the brush on the fly, and Shift F allows you to change the strength of the brush on the fly. A grease pencil object has three components: the points, the edit lines, and then the stroke. Materials control the appearance of the grease pencil object, defining the base color and texture of the strokes and filled areas. You can override the base material color using the tools in Draw mode. You can do this by using the Tint tool. You can change the color anytime. It's important to note that lights can affect objects in the scene. By default, Use Lights is enabled under the Object Data properties. So if, for example, I place an area light, so that it is facing straight at the actual stroke, and I increase the power and change the color, you can clearly see how the light is affecting the actual stroke. There are 6 different modes available in the grease pencil: Draw, Sculpt, Edit, Vertex Paint, Weight Paint, and Object. Draw mode allows you to draw in the viewport. To create strokes, you need to select one of the tools from the toolbar, such as the Draw tool or one of the primitives. Once a new stroke is made, it cannot be selected unless you're in edit mode. The stroke placement selector permits you to select the location where a newly created stroke is drawn. Origin means that the strokes are placed at the grease pencil's origin. 3D cursor means that the strokes are placed at the 3D cursor. And this works if you're in orthographic view when you draw. Surface means that the stroke will stick to the surface of a mesh. And strokes means that the new stroke will stick to other strokes. The Drawing Plane selector helps you to select the plane in which a newly created stroke is drawn. View means that the strokes are drawn with the current 3D viewport orientation. Front means that the strokes will be drawn on the placement determined by the X and Z axes. Side is used to make strokes that are drawn on the plane determined by the Y and X axes. Top means that the strokes are determined by the plane determined by the X and Y axes. Cursor is used to make strokes that are drawn with the current 3D cursor orientation. Guides are drawing aids that make it easier to draw different types of strokes. The circular option constrains the drawing of a stroke to form rings from the reference point. Radial constrains the drawing of the strokes to form rays from the reference point. Parallel means that the new stroke will form parallel lines. Grid allows the new strokes to form horizontal or vertical lines. Isometric constrains new strokes to vertical or isometric lines, with an angle option that determines the direction of the isometric lines. Sculpt mode works similarly to edit mode, except that in sculpt mode, brushes are used to manipulate the drawing that is within the region of the brush. There are 3 selection masks available: points, strokes, and points between other strokes. If I choose the points option and box select the first stroke, I can affect the points that are within the area of the brush. I choose the strokes option and box select the second line, I can affect the section of the line that is within the area of the brush. If I choose the points between other strokes option and box select the third line, I can affect the points and the section of the line that is within the area of the brush. Edit mode provides a variety of editing tools such as move, extrude, or transform. Just like sculpt mode, there are 3 different selection modes: points, strokes, and points in between. You can also box select, circle select, or select linked. You can also rotate, grab, and scale selected portions of the drawn object. Vertex paint mode allows you to directly manipulate the color of points rather than using only the material's base color. You again have access to the 3 different selection modes. I can, for example, circle select a group of points and then paint on a color. Weight paint mode is used to assign weight to points and is used primarily for rigging. This mode will be explored in later rigging and animation tutorials. Object mode comes with 3 primitives: blank, stroke, and monkey, all of which can be accessed using the shortcut Shift-A. One of the best things about Blender's grease pencil is that you can convert your sketches to actual geometry. Objects can be converted to paths, Bezier curves, or polygon curves. In the 3D viewport, I need to add a blank grease pencil object and go into draw mode. can then draw some lines with the grease pencil. Then in Object Mode, I can click and choose Convert to Path. Then I select the new path in the outliner and change the properties under the Object Data Properties. I can do the same thing with the duplicate, only this time I convert it to a Bezier curve. And for the second duplicate, I convert it into a polygon curve and change the properties on the Object Data Properties. This was just a quick start guide for the grease pencil. I encourage you to fully explore all the possibilities there are to this great resource from Blender. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Have a good day.